Good evening, everybody. Hello, afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are. Hello, welcome to episode 1 of the Antillian Mysteries. We are live. I am not napping. So sorry. Welcome along. We are hopefully going to be playing some some D&D. Do feel free to chat along. I will be watching the chat. I will not be responding to chat because I will be focusing on the game for my players. However, any follows, anything that happens, thank you so much. I just appreciate you being here, full stop. So, without further ado, I say we I raise. They're currently talking in the Discord. I don't. But okay, fabulous. Let's do that, and then I'm at him. And there we are. It is all good fun. Apparently my alerts are on. Good times, because I heard that. So now let us raise the volume on the Discord. Hello there, good fellow players and friends.
That was dangerous.
Hello.
Hello there. We'll have to excuse poor Aiden. Aiden is dying of the man flu. Oh my days! How do I turn these off? Why alerts?
What was
Why? That was my alerts, but that should not be on.
Sorry,
We're doing well.
Raid?
That was
that
for a
me
host.
setting it off.
A host/raid. But thank you, Sarah, for your Twitch Prime sub. Thank you. So,
I mean,
I'm excited. Are you guys excited? I'm also
I'm
freaking
definitely
nervous.
excited.
I am freaking nervous. I'm very nervous. But it'll be fine. It'll be absolutely fine. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
Other things will go wrong, Dan.
Everything will go wrong. So, last we met, because we have had a session 0. Last we met, you were on the road in the lovely region of Hildinia, in the area known as Starlon, and it's sort of like the area known as Starlon to the west of the Antillian mountains. You were travelling back from Scrolton, escorting a shipment of stone up there and payment for said shipment back to Coston, where you are based, when you were set upon by bandits. Evil bandits. Indeed. However, due to clever charm person, Vistra, you managed to ascertain that they weren't particularly bandits. They did have an organisation, and that organisation had a base, which you discovered the information for whilst arrows were flying everywhere, including at yourself. With Jack, the Dwarven Bard, running around, bashing the living daylights out of anything he could, because honey badgers don't care. Thank you for the... I need to turn these off. How do I turn these off? I've pressed the mute button on Streamlabs. Why are you still plaguing me? Maybe if I turn that off completely. Let's find out. Technology people. It's the first episode. We'll get around this. Yes, Jack bashing things. Terra losing arrows upon unsuspecting everything. Quinn dancing around and literally ending a man's bloodline. With a rather swift kick.
I think everyone felt that.
Yeah,
Even the people who didn't have anything to lose felt that.
I crossed my legs at that point. And Irid, unfortunately, being sort of mostly contained during the battle and post-battle with the mage that was affecting him in some way, Irid vanished, gone. You have since found a locket with a similar patterned gem to Irid's scales, Irid being a Dragonborn wizard. And that is where we pick off. So, before we start, if we could just go around, since this is our first episode live, if you would like to introduce yourselves, who you are playing, and a brief description of your character. Sarah.
Ooh, pressure's on. All right. I am Vistra Hightower, a druid of the forest. Vistra was born in the rolling hills of Hildinia. At a young age, her mother and father were killed by bandits, but she escaped into the neighboring forest. Frightened and alone, Vistra wandered for many days with no sign of help. When she was nearly ready to give up, the Wild Mother appeared to her and bestowed upon her a necklace made of elk horn and the gift of nature. Vistra pleaded with the Wild Mother, and she was provided an elk to lead her to her new home in Scrollton. After 20 years of living there, Vistra felt called to the forest again, and to the great forest east of the Antillians. Through her solitude, Vistra has forgotten some of her social graces, so you might have to excuse some of the things she says or does. Vistra has flowing, long brown hair, kind of untamed, and wears a lot of robes, but beneath those robes is actually some armor, just in case she gets into some trouble.
Which no doubt she will.
Yep.
Indeed. Thank you very much, Vistra. So let us throw this over to poor Aiden. If you wish to give us a very brief addendum description to save yourself, as soon as you are very poorly, bless you.
I'm playing Jack Sabbath. He's a dwarf bard. He is very strong because he carries around a lot of instruments on his back, which makes him very loud and unstealthy and unwieldy.
The man's a human bagpipes walking around.
He makes noise. As he clumps around, all you can hear are his instruments making noise and clanking. What else can I say, Dan?
What does he look like?
He has scruffy red hair that spreads directly to an impressive beard. And I do have some more backstory, but I don't want to go into it yet.
Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. So, that is two of our party. Erin, please describe Quinn.
Yeah, so Quinn is a tiefling monk. She's gray-skinned, kind of smallish, kind of ram-shaped horns that kind of curl around her ears with short white curly hair, kind of curly wavy hair. She's a kind of a long-sleeved crop top, kind of a dark gray, a little bit darker than her skin, with kind of darker gray monk pants and a kind of like a blue, kind of a dusty blue sari, with then 2 silver hoops attached at her hips, as well as a few kind of odd bangles and different silver jewelry kind of adorning both her arms and kind of ears. She has pointed ears. I don't have much backstory other than she grew up with her mom, Lana, who was a tiefling, a single mom, and she eventually her mom fell in love with a female dwarf, Mara, who runs a jewelry business. So Quinn has a little bit of experience in both dancing, which is what Lana's profession was before she met Mara, and then also in jewelry making and stuff with helping Mara in her shop.
Fabulous, thank you very much. We do have a dragonborn wizard, played by Tyler. Tyler, unfortunately, is unfortunately not always able to make it. But when he arrives, whatever day or week that may be, he will be able to describe his appearance beautifully. But know that he is a prismatic scaled dragonborn with a lovely hand on his shoulder. Yep, that's a thing. And Terra, Chorna, if you would like to describe.
Hey, so Terra is a human ranger. She is quite fairly sort of, how should I describe her? Dark, kind of chocolatey brown skin tone, which is relevant because her family are decidedly not of that colour. Tara came from a travelling merchant kind of gypsy family. Her parents already had 3 children of their own, but when her mum became pregnant a 4th time and she gave birth to a darker skinned child, it became very evident very quickly that her mum had not been faithful. But Tara sort of became the scapegoat for most of the family's problems throughout the rest of her life. As soon as she could, she ran away at a fairly young age and found herself basically picking up skills on how to hunt small, animals in forests and things, and made her living selling furs and whatnot to various people, kind of continuing on her background as a moving merchant. And that's about as much as anyone really knows about her. She's got really striking kind of stocky features. She's quite a strong lass because she has had to sort of pretty much live by herself. So she doesn't have, a lot of kind of feminine features about her. She's got very short hair, kind of scraggly. She doesn't really brush it or anything. Most of her clothes are in keeping with the surroundings. So there's a lot of muted browns and a lot of muted greens, and she's just about, look, if I need to get up and start firing arrows at something, that's all she really cares about. Just shoot at whatever, skin it, sell it, move on to the next place. So that's Tara. She's kind of, yeah.
Fabulous. Thank you very much, guys.
It's
So,
unfortunately.
so we find ourselves on the cart with the with the gnomish driver, Skrarl, I believe his name was. I can't find that.
Skarl with no vowels.
Skarl, that was it. Thank you. Unfortunately, my notepad. Oh, there it is actually. Yeah, all right. I've got that many books around here. It's insane. There we go. So, with Skarl, the gnomish courier, who was decidedly worried, given the fact that there was arrows flying everywhere. However, he is unscathed. You find yourselves in the road. What would you wish to do? What would you wish to do?
So
Sorry.
are we back on the road going, or are we still kind of where we left off?
You're exactly where you left off, sort of like around the cart. Skarl still cowering.
Correctly, where we were was I think you ended up with the necklace, or who was it that figured out it was? Yeah,
Quinn has it.
I know that Tara doesn't want to have anything to do with that necklace because the second that she heard it had some kind of cursed magic on it. Who was able to determine that? I forget.
That was Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Jack said something about it being cursed, and Tara didn't want to have anything to do with it. So in terms of what she does next, she's kind of looking to someone take lead, and she's sort of, I guess, the person that was most successful with the attacks was Quinn. So she's sort of looking over at Quinn and being like, whatever you say next.
Ooh, a leader.
So Quinn has the necklace currently in her hands.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna kind of look at it. So there's apparently some sort of curse on this, guys. What do we want to do? Do we want to keep it? Do we want to keep a hold of it? What do you guys want to do?
I'm going to kind of.
Oh, can you guys?
What? I'm gonna kind of signal for everyone to kind of get closer because a little bit low to the ground, being a dwarf. Just be like, I think first we should get rid of Skarl, if you know what I mean, and then we gotta get rid of him.
You want to get rid of him?
Not in that kind of way. I don't mean kill him.
I was gonna say alignment shift.
I mean, no, not that kind of way. Putting words in my mouth. He's kind of useless.
We need him to drive the cart, though.
I hear you, but after that,
I know we could probably ditch him at the next town.
that's what I'm saying.
Okay, well, what then? Okay, so we know we want to ditch Skarl.
Correct.
What do we want to do with this necklace?
We have to go to the hideout that I may have gotten some information out of one of those guys. Something about Gunther?
Gunther. Yeah, you in interrogating the
interrogate is such a strong word.
The charmed, as you ascertain, charmed member of the Uncloaked, as the organisation he claimed to belong to. You discovered that they had a leader called Vulcan, and that they were holed up in Gunther, which you know collectively from your knowledge of the region to be a ruined town, ruined abandoned town to the west of the Prison Forest.
And that's where we need to go. You can save your applause for later. You were just punching stuff and you ended a guy's family, so.
He was doing weird stuff to Irid or Sparkles here.
Sparkles.
Irid. Sparkles. He is Sparkles. I know his full name is Irid, but I call him Sparkles. We've known each other for a little bit.
Hey, that's totally up to you. I'm all about the nicknames. Quinny Poo. Is that how it works?
I will let you buy this once.
Okay.
In saying that.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Okay. So, what do you wish to do, guys? What's your plan?
I think we need to get this stone shipment to the Grinjaw family, and then we need to head towards Gunther.
Okie dokie.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Gunther.
Or object.
I'm speaking out the Dan. It appears we have lost two of our team.
Yes, they've lost internet. That's fine. They've lost internet. I have had a message from them.
Okay.
They will be sorting it out and coming back on shortly. But that's fine. Okay, so you Scarlet's coming to sort of like carrying her, sort of like looking up, going,
Are they gone?
So gone.
They're dead, Scarl. They're dead. Thanks for helping.
You're welcome. Can we? Shall we go? Shall we go? Yeah, let's
Just go.
Go
Just
back.
go.
Let's just go.
It's not like it matters that we lost Sparkles, but yeah, let's go.
Apparently you have no humanity left in you, but that's fine.
They were shooting at me. They were shooting
Sure.
at me.
Yeah.
They were shooting at Vistra here, but you
Sorry,
didn't see her complaining.
He pulls out a hit flash, just takes a quick hit, and just checks the horse is fine, the pony's fine, and climbs back up in the cart.
We're all getting on then. Are you walking with again?
I'll be walking.
I'm gonna ride. I got short legs.
Okay, that's fine. Go, climb on.
You climb onto the cart.
Quinny Poo, can you give me a boost?
Sure, Quinn's gonna Quinn is gonna give her a look. He's gonna give you a
You
look.
said it was fine, right?
She's gonna give her a look and just help give her kind of a boost up into the cart.
Thank you.
Make a strength check, just for lols.
Are you saying I'm fat?
No.
Oh wait, I
Wow.
need to do a strength check. Oh wait, that's what you said?
Yep, strength check.
Oh, this is not gonna be good.
First roll of the campaign.
This is not good, Sarah.
Well, first roll of the live campaign.
We have like an.
Oh, it's a natural 19, but it comes down to 18.
Oh my god, you have negative strength.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Monks, man, they're all about the all about the decks. That's fine. So yeah, you get your hands under sort of like under Vistra's leg and give us such a forcible lift up that Vistra actually almost like tumble rolls into the cart itself from the overexertion. Scar sort of like Terra and Jack climbs on as well, and Terra walking behind the cart with her bow at the ready. Scar goes and claps the reins and gently set off back towards Cothston. So, journeying there is a fairly uneventful journey for the remainder of it. You're keeping a close watch on the surroundings. It's not too far left to get to Cothston itself. So within a short amount of time, you see The small houses start popping up on the horizon of Coston as you navigate the slightly undulous terrain. Coston itself is to call it a town is probably a little bit giving it delusions of grandeur. It's an inflated village is probably best to describe it. Itself is it has two main sources of commerce. One, it has the Collected Stein Brewery, which is one of the main exports to the surrounding region of Starlon within Hildenia, and even over to Porton on the east side of the mountains. The brewery owned by Theo Grantham and his wife, who I have the name of here, Brenda.
So
I was invented with
Theo
that name. Theo and Brenda Grantham, who own the Grantham, Grantham.
Will you say H?
Grantham. Indeed. They own the Collected Stein Brewery and the tavern attached to it. The other main source of income for the area is one that you yourselves are familiar with in terms of work that you do, which is the Grinjaw stonemasonry and quarry. Within Coston itself is the actual stonemasonry. The quarry itself is actually within the Antillian mountains. They are notorious for the region in terms of the only family that actually quarry the Antillian mountains themselves. The majority of the towns and villages surrounding Antillians are all made with Grinjaw stone that they have quarried out and shaped and shipped for a very healthy profit. The stones.
Pardon me, quick. Collected Stein was the inn, right?
The Collected Stein was the inn, yes, and the Stein Brewery is the brewery that's attached to it.
Thank you.
Yes, and the Grinjaw family run the masonry. The two sort of main sort of heads of that family are Delilah Grinjaw and Archibald Grinjaw. They do have a couple of children working for them within the foundry itself. I think one is, I believe, one is a receptionist. I've got so many NPC names here; it's untrue. I went crazy. So yes, so there we are. We arrive back into Coston itself. You come in through the North Road. Where do you wish to go? Scarla's heading straight back to the Grinjaw stonemasonry.
Are we needed anymore for?
I mean, don't we get paid?
Oh, true.
Yep. Should you?
Yes,
Wish,
I guess we're gonna-
Question mark?
you do.
Guess we're
You,
going with Scarl.
that's right. Yep. No problem at all. You come through the North Road, passing the tavern and the brewery on your right. The road forks round to the left, follows a few houses round, and up ahead of you, you see the rather impressive building of the Grinjaw stone masonry. The building itself is kind of set along sort of a bit of a hill within Coston itself. It's generally at least 2 stories taller than most other buildings in the area, although you know the majority of that to actually just be storage of stone. It doesn't itself have it doesn't really have any floors. It is one floor, just very tall. The building itself is made of Grinjaw stone, which is kind of a light sandy grey colour from the Antillian mountains. It's every stone that they create, you can tell from the outside of the building, has a small little GJ stamp within the stone somewhere itself. And I believe I've just seen Shauna come back online in Discord, so hopefully we'll have Shauna and Aidan again soon. And she's gone again. Bless them, they are having internet troubles. It's fine. We plough on. It's not a problem. So you, Scarl approaches the masonry itself, turns to you both.
Off you get then.
Can you help me down?
Yeah. Well, Quinn will help Vistra down.
Not a problem. It's
Thank you.
easy enough. Sort of jump off, and Jack and Tara as well gather up behind you. Scar goes, yeah, and sort of takes the pony off round the back to the collection yard where the stone is shipped from and to. You know that to collect payment, you would head towards the reception and speak to your handler, as it were.
Harsh. Well, should we get paid?
Oh, so otherwise that whole trip was useless, and we've lost our sparkles.
Maybe we can get his money though.
You're right. We'll just say he had to go rest at the inn.
I have a better idea. You might want to sit down for this. What if we say he died and we try to collect some kind of insurance? Is that a thing? Can that be a thing?
It's a question to the DM.
That's like mostly to you, but I mean, interpret as you will.
But in terms of obviously the pay itself, you wouldn't be your arrangement isn't for an individual pay; it's for sort of a group pay. You're hired as a group, and
well,
you'd be paid as a group.
Split.
We can definitely split Sparkles' pay.
Exactly.
And if he ever comes back to normal,
we don't bring it up.
No.
We don't bring it up.
No. So okay, we good here? We Gucci? Is that the plan, or are we going to?
I think so.
So we're gonna say he died, or are we just gonna say he's gone?
How about you lead, I follow, and I'll make it really believable.
Okay. If you can maybe work some of that like charm you did with that guy that ambushed us, if we need to.
I like where your head's at. I really do. I might just do this.
We'll see how it goes. If If it starts going badly, we need to have a code word in case.
Pumpernickel.
Pumpernickel?
I think that's a great one.
Okay, so if one of us say pumpernickel, we know we need to do something.
Yeah.
Distraction. Okay.
Wait, can we anytime we need some sort of distraction, can that just be the word?
We could do that, yeah. If that's what
I like
you
this.
guys want, yeah, let's do it.
I like it. I like this Quinny Poo.
Okay,
Ladies and
so
gentlemen, episode 1, and they're already trying to scam more money out of their employers. I'm so proud of you guys.
We're gonna walk into I guess we're gonna walk into the masonry to the receptionist to try to play the card of we lost.
Okay.
When I'm gonna let Quinn walk in first, but when I walk in, I'm so upset right now. Like, I can't believe he's gone.
Are you doing that before we walk in or after?
Like, right as we were walking in. Like, I'm totally normal outside, but the moment we cross that threshold, hot mess.
I wish we had planned this beforehand, because I totally would play along with this.
I like to go out on a limb. I really wanted to be an actress when I was a kid.
So are we both gonna like be in tears and be like, we just lost our friend here? And
only if you want to pick up on what I'm doing.
I think I could do that because I'm really good at performing.
I know. Really hard since Sparkles left. I think I inhaled something.
Okay, I guess we're gonna walk in and we're gonna both be in tears.
Weeping uncontrollably.
We're just gonna be like, do we need to like lean on each other and be like?
No, but it's too far. It's too far.
Okay, we're just gonna walk in tears. Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so you walk into the entrance of the Gwyndraw Foundry, Gwyndraw Stonemason, sorry, and the reception desk is in front of you. It's a magnificent sort of like stone carved reception desk. Again, as everything is carved from the stone that they quarried from the mountain itself. Behind it sits Delilah Grinjaw, who is the receptionist, the wife of Archibald, the owner of the stonemasonry and quarry. She's a dwarven woman. She has beautiful sort of like flowing blonde hair that is tied in sort of a tight braid. She wears a beautiful sort of like regal green, going into brown, going into yellow dress that sort of like just tightly hugs her slightly plump figure. She looks up from the documents that she's currently marking down and goes, "Oh, hello there. Is everything okay?"
I have a question, real quick, for you.
Yep.
Do we know her?
You know her. You've dealt with her a few times. She's generally the sort of the bookkeeper and the person who is the main liaison between say yourselves and your work.
Gotcha.
Okay. Quinn's gonna be like on the she's gonna look like she's on the verge of tears, but trying to hold herself together because of course she's the strong, independent woman who can probably kick ass.
Mm-hmm.
Apologize for that. But she's gonna be on the verge of tears and walk up and be like, everything's good and delivered. There's been no issues. Sorry. We may have had a casualty on the road.
I don't even know.
It's okay, Vistra. It's okay. I know. It's tough. So, we know we came here to get our pay, but
We were so close.
no, Irid, for so long.
He was so young.
So, I don't know if there'd be any sort of compensation for losing him. It'd be much
He just
appreciated.
deserves the best burial, okay?
If we could somehow, get some sort of compensation to help give him the proper burial that he needs, it would be much appreciated.
So appreciated.
I'm so sorry to hear that. Roll a deception check, please.
Which one, Quinn?
Whoever's
Living
leading this story.
No, that's all.
Do we get advance? Do I get advance?
Can I? It does the tears. The tears.
Yeah, go on. I suppose the two of you with advantage. Without
Okay,
being-
I'll roll Sarah. That's fine with you.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a 14 plus 3 for 17.
Okay. Oh, that is a terrible shame. What happened, if you don't mind me asking?
We got ambushed
Ambush!
by these bandits, and they shot arrows. There's some weird magic going on, and
So much weird magic.
he got hit so many times, and he just
God.
I can't remember.
You can't remember?
I can remember. I just
She's
can't
just
think
so
of this anymore.
She's so distraught she can't even remember.
Seeing his body on the ground, I don't want to recall that anymore, Mistral.
Please stop making us think about it. He was just so shiny.
Okay,
So
that's fine. I mean, generally we do have an arrangement that, we do send out yourselves, and it is a risky, it's dangerous work, and we do pay you fairly handsomely for that. But I'll see what I can do. I can see you're both very upset there. Oh, dearie me.
you're such a lovely. Thank you. Greatly appreciate it.
And she disappears into a door behind the reception, closes it and comes back a couple of minutes later with a paper quill and a bag, jingling, which you know to be of coin. She places the coin on the counter in front and places the paper and goes, "Not a problem. If you could just sign here, it's just essentially a certificate of balancing the books as to why we paid you a little bit extra. I'm terribly sorry for your loss. I really am."
I'm illiterate.
Okay, that's fine. And
I'm
she
gonna
just moves
look
it towards Quinn.
Well, we have both Tara and Jack here, right?
Yeah. We'll say for the moment they're
We're gonna-
stood
I'm gonna
outside,
defer
just
to
waiting.
Jack. I'm gonna have Jack sign it. I'm too distraught. I would be like, Jack, can you please? I can't do it right now.
Okay, not a problem.
That is so much abuse.
Jack, Jack, one's up. Okay, it's fine. Signs it, grabs the coin and wanders off.
He grabs the coin.
Yeah, as if he's signing the paper. If he's dealing with the trade. So grab the coin and wander back towards the cart.
Quinn's gonna be still in tears. Be like, thank you so much.
Not a problem.
She's just gonna follow Jack out whenever she's gonna.
That's fine. Do take care, you two. And I'm terribly sorry for your loss again. I really am.
Bless your kind heart.
Yes. Thank you so much.
No problem. And she just looks down, and just carries on working with whatever document she was working with previously. So for your troubles, you have been paid the sum of what was it? It would be 800 plus an extra 100, so 900 gold total between yourselves. 800 for the actual task itself, 100 for the compensation.
Are we out of the door at this point?
Yeah, we'll say out the door. Sort of, yeah, you're back out on the street in front of the
Okay.
Grinjaw stonemasonry.
Okay, I'm gonna like kind of keep it. I'm gonna try to get the group to walk a little bit farther away, and then I'm gonna drop it, and then I'm gonna high five Vistra.
Nailed it.
We didn't even have to use pumpernickel.
Didn't even need it. I can tell that those acting classes really paid off.
Okay.
See, it wasn't acting. It was all
Talent.
talent here. Should we go find the inn? Celebrate.
Absolutely.
Not a problem. Okay. So it's by this point it's getting towards the evening. You wander off towards the inn. Easy enough to find. It's just on the other side of town. The inn itself is a fairly sort of like small affair, considering it has a very large brewery behind it, which the actual brewery itself is a much more imposing and larger building than the inn it's attached to. The collected stein is quite small. It has a few rooms, which at the moment sort of like you have 3 rented out for yourselves. The insides of the actual collected stein it's quite bustling by now. It's sort of like the evening trade has started to pick up. The decor is very sort of rustic and there are a few stone pillars. The bar itself is also a beautiful polished grey stone, as most things are in this region. You know. The bar is quite busy. What do you wish to do?
Well, I think we need to divide this money up.
I think you're right. Yep. No, I agree.
Okay.
Which would be $2.25 each.
Should be, between the
For the
four of
record,
us.
I'm not really illiterate. I just put my name on that thing.
That's why I told Jack to do it.
I like. Yep. They don't blame me.
I figure, if anything, it's his. They can come back and talk with him.
Yeah. Exactly. I think we have telepathy here.
I feel like we're on the same wavelength here, and
What's a wavelength?
I don't know. I just keep hearing it.
Okay. That's fine.
I perform a lot, and I always hear people like say, "Oh, I feel like we're on the same wavelength." I thought it'd be a cool thing to say. Kind of
It
like a
sounds
few
cool.
other things. Yeah, kind of like Gucci.
Oh, or
And like I've heard
Tallywhacker.
Yeah, and so you try to keep up with the kids. I know I'm not the oldest. I'm not the oldest,
Are
but
you saying I'm old?
no, I'm not.
That would be rude.
No, you are not old.
Thank you.
I would say, if anything, I look old because my white hair.
I wasn't gonna say anything.
It's okay. I get it a lot. I used to dye it when I was younger,
I get that.
but at this point, it's just too much hassle.
I hear ya. Plus, it's so much upkeep.
It is.
I've never done it, but I've heard, from around the forest. I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I'm just gonna walk up to the bar.
Not a problem. You head up to the bar, and the barmaid there is you see a half elven lady. She's slightly rotund and quite busty. She does have a slightly crooked nose and some burn marks on her temple that cut a little bit into her hairline, almost like sort of some scarring, some burn scarring. She's blonde. The rest of her hair is actually sort of like very neat. She's fairly well presented. She greets you. Oh, hello there. You're right. How are we doing now?
Wow, you're friendly. Yeah. Hey.
Hey, you're right there. What can we get you?
And an ale. Be great.
Ale, not
Yeah.
a problem. Are you wanting the Stein brew or the Antillian ale?
Yeah.
Okay. She pours you an Antillian ale. Pops it on the counter. There you go.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Looks great.
That's fine. Are we putting it on your room?
Yes.
Okay,
So-
not a problem. It's Vicky. Is it Vicky?
Me. What?
Are you Vicky?
I'm sure you can call me that.
Okay, that's
Most people call me Vistra, but Vicky is a cool
Vistra.
name.
Sorry, yes, of course it is. It was close. It's a very unusual name, that.
You had at least a letter right. Yep.
Indeed. And she just leans over and boops you on the nose.
Okay. Well, now we're touching. Got it.
Quinn's gonna walk up.
Okay.
Okay, have we been to this place before?
Yeah,
Let's
you're,
go back.
you're currently staying here.
So what was the bar? Okay, was this Brenda?
This is not Brenda. No, this is you know this to be Sally,
Sally.
one of the bar staff.
So, Quinn's gonna come up to Sally. Be like, hey Sally, how's it going?
Are you there? You're right there, Quinn.
Oh, you remember her name?
I'm sorry. It's I'm not very good with exotic names, you see.
Oh, I'm exotic. Okay, whatever. You know what? I'm just gonna take my ale and walk.
No problem. And you walk away. What can we get for you, Quinn?
So I was just wondering, since the last time we were here,
Yeah.
I had performed a little bit for you guys to bring in some more customers. I was wondering if we could have that, maybe do that again?
Oh, so you could do some dancing?
Yes.
Well, I'm more than
And
happy to let you do
potentially
dancing, yeah.
Potentially for some free lodging and some food for the night.
Well, that's not on me. It'd have to be Master Theo that'd deal with that. But I mean, I'm more than happy to let you dance. I enjoyed it.
Alright, cool. Yeah, I'm sure it should work, because last time it was the same thing.
Excellent, fantastic. Now, I'll let Master Theo know when he pops out from the back.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and she goes and sort of like moves down the bar and sort of starts flirting with one of the other patrons.
Okay, so I'm just saying I'm trying to use my by popular demand feature, which I can find a place to perform, and at such a place I can receive free lodging and food at a modest or comfortable standard.
Yeah, no problem. That's fine. So once the manager comes
she
out.
said my name was exotic. The nerve, I know. I'm just going up to random people, just bitching.
That's fine. So a random sort of like elven gentleman sort of like looks down at you and goes, I see, yes. Yes, I see. And just takes a sip and carries on talking to his friends. No problem. So do you wish to spend the evening drinking and regaling and dancing?
Quinn's just gonna kind of refrain from doing much drinking. One,
Okay.
because if she's gonna be performing, she does not want to be drunkenly. She's not a drunken master monk. She needs to make sure she knows what's going on, but she's gonna be kind of people watching
Okay, that's fine.
and kind of watching to see if there's anyone interesting that shows up, and then making sure the rest of the party doesn't go off and do something stupid.
Oh,
AKA
you have
AKA
no
Jack.
idea.
You sure?
You think he's a problem?
Jack actually sort of like heads off to bed sort of like fairly early. Sort of like he kind of like looks around. He grabs an ale and drinks it fairly quickly and just looks at you and goes, "Not feeling great. I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna head off. And just plonks himself up the stairs. Tara sort of
Good
like just
night,
looks at
Jack.
him and goes, "Go make sure he's okay." And wanders up after him. Leaving you two just down in the bar. So you say you're looking around for anyone interesting.
Yes.
Make a perception check.
Am I interesting?
Yes, you are. I'm watching. But I'm seeing if there's anyone else, because I'm listening to you keep telling random people that the whole exotic.
Yeah, bartender Stephanie.
Okay,
Couldn't
so
remember
this
my
is
name.
Perception, you said?
Perception, yes.
11.
Looking around is a lot of the usual crowd. The bar is fairly sort of like full at this point. Sort of like you know that most of the trade within the town, since it's a very small town, most ends up here in the evenings just to unwind and have a drink. You do see one gentleman in the corner, sort of like just him on his own, sort of like a human gentleman, about middle-aged, sort of like slightly peppered hair, like salt and pepper hair in terms of his. It's slightly greying a little bit before his time, bless him. He just sat there, sort of like his chin resting on his on his hands, sort of like beer, just having a drink, just staring a bit almost absently sort of towards the door. Everyone else just seems to be enjoying the drink, having a laugh, listening to the music, and generally spending a coin.
Okay. And Vistra's just walking around doing...
Squabbling around.
Vistra is still that's loud. You hear the musicians kick up their music. It's just a small sort of.
They're so much better than Jack.
Jack is thankfully not here to hear you. They're a three-piece that Jack has previously tried to jam with, much to their chagrin. They seem to be sort of like just happily, absently playing along. You know one of them to be one of the workers from the stone draw mason themselves, one of the stonemasons themselves, currently sort of like playing a percussion. Theo eventually comes out from the back, goes and speaks to Sally, sort of like who points in your direction, and he looks over and sort of like just kind of like goes, yeah, same arrangements as the other night.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah. Go for it,
kind of a nod of acknowledgement.
Okay, cool.
I don't know. I just see a lot of favoritism. I think it's because she's taller.
Hey Theo, can we get some free beer for Vistra too with this?
It's Vicky now.
Make a persuasion roll.
Me or?
You're trying to persuade it. You're trying to persuade it to give free beer.
11 plus I have 14.
14. Listen goes, maybe not free, but we'll see about doing you right there.
Vicky doesn't get free.
You're getting discounted, come on. With your free lodgings.
Oh, you're getting free. Yeah, you're getting free lodgings here with me.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, I thought that was just for you. My bad.
No, it's
I'm assuming some of us are sharing room.
some of you are sharing rooms. The Theo himself is a human male, sort of is a fairly slight build. He's not, considering sort of like most of the people in the town. He's actually quite thin. He's bold, quite stony faced, clean shaven. Wears a beautiful red sort of like maroon shirt with like brown slacks. Sort of is his general sort of like attire when he's tending bar. So the evening passes. Quinn dances beautifully. Make a performance check, just for lols.
Just for lols, just to see. Oh,
Just for lols.
I know. This is gonna be where, like, even though I have a really nice performance, that's just gonna be like, nope. I have a 9.
Ooh, okay.
I'm still like.
The dance starts out really beautiful, but it has been a very long day. The musicians sort of like see you playing, and sort of they change their song accordingly to sort of like try and match what you're dancing. However, unfortunately, because the bar is getting quite full, you do accidentally just stumble ever so slightly on a couple of chair legs here and there as you're sort of twirling around the bar. This is general sort of like smatterings of applause. Sort of like the patrons seem to enjoy it. You yourself are left a little bit kind of frustrated that you didn't give your best performance.
Most of them were probably drunk enough they didn't realize.
I realized.
I knew you would, Vistra. You're keeping me in check. Thank you.
I called top bunk.
Okay, that's fine.
Not a problem. The rest of the evening passes without too much incident. You enjoy your drinks. The bar gets sort of like a little bit sort of like quieter as the evening goes on, as patrons start heading off towards their their homes. Some worse for wear. You head up to your rooms eventually and enjoy a nice restful sleep. Wake in the morning. You can feel the cold air coming through the tavern in rooms as you wake. It's getting towards the time of year when snow is a possibility. The region to the west of the mountains is generally actually a lot fairer climate, a lot more humid. However, sort of like it still does suffer from snowfall, especially this close to the mountain. So you wake. It is a new day.
Okay, what season was it again?
Autumn.
Yeah, it's going towards autumn, as you would call it.
What's the how full is the moon?
Um,
Sorry, I'm trying to listen, but it's from per what we were talking about earlier.
It's currently just in waning. It's about sort of like 2/3.
Okay, so 2/3 full or 2/3 is it?
Waning is the moon.
I know, I should know this.
Has been full
Has
and it is
been
now
full.
receding.
Gotcha.
It's waxing.
Gotcha.
Are we
and
talking
waning.
about moon phases right now?
We're talking
Yes.
about moon phases.
I was like, did I miss
Yeah.
something in the
No.
like 2 seconds that I?
No, you heard right. It's yeah.
Okay. Just making sure.
Okay, so you wake. The day is yours. What do you wish to do?
So is it just me and Vistra in this room, or do we have like Tara?
You can decide what your sleeping arrangements are.
I think there's only 2 of us.
I would assume Jack is currently on his own, as Jack would probably be sharing with Irid, being the 2 boys. So between you
Did we even
guys.
see Tara come back in and?
She
Yeah,
went up.
Tara followed Jack to make sure
Oh,
that
okay.
he was all okay. After he was feeling a little bit tender.
Did he not get shot? Did he get shot?
He took a couple of shots. He took a couple of shots.
I didn't get shot. I just kicked a man's balls to death. But
Hey, I mean, if you're gonna hit where it hurts.
yep.
Exactly.
I guess should we head downstairs and see if the rest of our group heads down?
I think so.
Okay, so just,
Actually, before we head downstairs, I'm just gonna bang on Jack's door. I mean, wakey, wakey.
okay, and then we're gonna assume Tara's roomed with us.
So it's up to you if you want to have 2 rooms or 3 rooms. If you want to have 3 in a room and or 2 or have
trying to
2 in
think
one
how-
or the other.
I'm trying to think what her personality would be like. I'm trying to.
She's
think on what she would
she's
prefer.
her being a ranger. She'll be quite resourceful, so she won't particularly care about sharing with more than one person.
I'm used to dirt. It's cool.
Quinn's is used to having a bed, so
I'll sleep on the floor. It's fine.
no, we have more than enough.
It's fine.
No,
Okay.
do that. Okay, well, we're heading down. I guess. Are we taking? Should we see if Tara? I guess Quinn's gonna ask if Tara would like to come down and join us, or if she's gonna wait around for Jack.
She looks and goes, "I'll go and try and wake Jack. I'll see you down there." And she goes off towards Jack's room.
Okay.
Okay, so heading down to the bar. So it's a nice brisk morning. There's a slight mist sort of like rolling in, sort of as you look out the tavern, sort of rolling in towards the North Road from the path to Scotland that you came from. Theo is downstairs. He has changed. He is in a blue shirt now. He greets you. Good morning there. How you all right? How you doing?
Morning, Theo. I think Jack's having a little trouble getting up, but I think both me and Vistra are ready for some breakfast.
Yeah, not a problem.
Yeah,
Not a problem
definitely.
at all. Yeah, we could sort that. We could sort that out. No problem at all. Yeah, we'll put it on your tab. We'll look at dealing with that in the next couple of days. Yeah. Or are you here for long? Are you here for much longer?
I don't know. Quinn's gonna kind of look at Vistra. She doesn't know quite what our plans are on whether or not we want to go check out that one place.
The
Or not.
cool, yeah, the place. You mean the market? Wink.
I'm not actually saying this out loud. I'm just kind of
Oh,
looking at you like,
Gotcha. We're doing this through telepathy.
yes.
I
attempting
just
to-
nod. Unsure of what she's.
Quinn's just gonna kind of like see Vistra kind of have a kind of just nodding, like, but she doesn't really.
Slow nod with squinty
Slow nod.
eyes.
Quinn's gonna be like, okay. Quinn's just gonna turn back to Theo and be like, we're not quite sure. We're gonna figure that out hopefully today, and we'll let you know if we'll be here a little bit longer.
You
Oh,
do that.
yeah.
You do that. That's not a problem. Normal breakfasts.
Yes.
Bacon, some meat, a bit of bread.
A little bit more bacon, if you can. We had a rough day yesterday.
Oh, it will cost a little bit extra. Bacon ain't cheap, you know.
She can have my bacon. How about it?
Okay.
Okay,
thanks,
so
girl.
that's fine. Yeah, no problem at all. And he goes into the back and sort of like you hear sort of like a little bit of sort of talking like between sort of like two male voices in the back. While you are in the bar, you do see a gentleman sort of like the same gentleman that you saw the night before, who was looking a little bit.
Same gentleman.
Yeah, he's currently face down asleep on a table.
Okay.
He's you can see his breathing. He's still alive. But yeah, he's currently in the same clothes, in the same table, currently asleep. He's the only other person in the bar currently.
Okay, Quinn's gonna kind of nudge Vistra and kind of like in a low tone, kind of point at this guy. Be like, Vistra, I saw him here last night. He was kind of looking out of it and kept staring at the door.
Are you talking about me? Because I
No,
too
I'm talking to you. I'm talking
might
to you and
have
I'm pointing
been
to the human guy.
staring
that's
at the
face
door.
Down, that's face
It's a really
down.
nice door. Have you seen the woodwork of the door? It's really nice.
I'm not.
Well, you should admire it. It's very nice.
I don't know, should we... No, I'm assuming he probably drunk himself into a stupor.
I mean, it's a bar,
He's not one of the usual people in this town.
but it's not very weird to pass out at a bar.
I understand.
Is
Okay,
Theo out in the main area, or is he in the back?
Theo is currently in the back preparing breakfast for you.
I'm going to go up to the edge of the bar and be like, Theo! Vicky needs you.
He comes out and oh yeah, you're right, Vistra. Vicky, who's Vicky?
Don't worry about that.
Okay.
I have a
It's currently
question.
looking around the bar looking for any other person.
I'm gonna lean on the bar real smoothly and just be like, I got a question for you, Theo.
Kind of leans in a bit inquisitively. All right, go ahead.
What do you know about that mysterious guy over there?
Kind of like looks over. By mysterious guy. Do you
Quiet.
mean?
Shh. Yeah.
He's fast on. Don't worry.
Quinn's gonna kinda lean
He's had a
into
rough
the guy.
couple of days. You mean Grant?
Grom?
Grant.
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 Sorry, I
Grant.
know I've got a thick accent. I'm sorry, Grant. Yeah,
Yeah.
Grant.
That-
yeah, I could call him Grant. Yeah, why
That's
not?
Grant?
That's Grant.
I
Yeah.
haven't seen it. What? He and I go way back. What happened?
You haven't heard?
No, we've been out of town.
Quinn's trying to hide her laugh.
Yeah, he's well. Make a deception check.
Oh, crap. Oh, God. How do you feel about a 3?
Oh!
I gotta love negative charisma.
Okay. It looks and goes, you go way back with Grant.
Quinn's gonna step in and be like, she had a long night. She thought she knew him.
Yeah, I know that. That's fine. But no, he's had a bad couple of days. You know, maybe leave it be. His daughter got kidnapped. His daughter's gone missing.
I thought you were talking about a bad breakup.
Oh no, much worse than that. I mean, his wife died years ago. It's been,
I'm gonna walk away. You can talk to Quinn.
Okay. Theo looks at you and goes, she's a bit strange, that one, isn't she?
A little, but you get used to her.
Indeed.
It's a good strange.
If you say so. Yeah, no, he's had a bad couple of days. He's, you know, sort of like The deputy and the sheriff have done all they can for him, but their hands are tied. We're not a very big town, and she doesn't seem to be anywhere in the town. They've searched high and low. No idea.
Did anyone see anything, or did she just?
No, that's the odd thing. It's, sort of, he was. I feel a little bit bad. He was out at the bar one night, and having a few drinks as he does. He works over at the town hall. No idea doing what. But he was in the bar one night, and then he came home, and then there was a hubbub the next day, and his place had apparently been done over, and his daughter was missing. And, I mean,
he had stuff. Oh wow.
Well, his house. There's obviously been a little bit of a scuffle.
Mm.
But she. Marie was she's feisty. Sort of like since her mother passed, she's really inherited her vigour and vim, if you know what I mean. But it's just really. It was really a little bit sad. I do feel for him.
Yeah. Oh, I know how hard it is to lose. I'll go talk to Vistra. Maybe we can look into it. We just came back from helping out with a delivery, but maybe we'll have some time to go check it out.
Maybe, yeah. But, if you do, make sure you check with the sheriff, because I know they've got an ongoing investigation. If you get what I mean.
Gotcha. Okay.
But yeah, so
thanks.
no problem. Yeah. I'll get Fryne to come out with your breakfasts, and he wanders into the back, sort of like much, and then a couple of minutes later, sort of like Fryne's, who is a small gnome gentleman. He's again one of the staff of the collected stein. Comes out carrying sort of like 2 plates, or one of breads, one of just bacon, and a couple of eggs on the side. Drops down.
There. No better. Have a good breakfast.
One's into the back.
You have a great speaking voice.
Thank you.
Elbow Vistra.
Just so you know,
Uncalled for.
I am married, but thank you.
And wanders off.
What a shame.
Vistra, I wasn't going to say anything.
Sorry.
All I could hear, I'll agree. All I could understand was thank you of that.
Don't worry.
Okay.
It's fine.
We need to work on your friend.
You're not the first to tell me that.
Okay.
Jack and Tara wander down and join you for breakfast, and you all enjoy a very lovely breakfast. You have obviously slept overnight, so that is a long rest, so you recover all your hit points. Any spell slots you recover now.
Any key
so
points I spent?
Yeah, any key points. I think your key points come back at a short rest. I think I do, don't they?
Yeah,
I
they
think
come
that's
back.
a leader feat, isn't it?
I have short rest. Yeah, per short rest.
Yeah, there we are.
Oh, just kidding. I was making sure you knew your own class. You passed.
Either rest will get me key points back.
Fancy.
Yeah, long rest obviously gets all your HP back as well. So you are nicely rested. The day is yours. You have a passed out man in the corner of the bar. You have Jack and Tara with you, who are Jack's looking a little bit worse for wear. He's kind of like holding his head and kind of going something about sky and sort of outages, and it's not making too much sense. For those joining us, unfortunately, Jack and Tara's internet have gone down. Thank you very much, Sky Broadband. Hopefully they will be back with us before the end. If not, we will try not to kill them.
Right.
Okay.
So yes, so there you are in the bar.
Just stuffing bacon into her mouth.
I'm gonna eat a couple. You said there was bread, correct?
Bread, eggs, bacon, a little bit, tiny bit of cheese.
Ooh, I'm gonna take the cheese and stuff it into my bag.
Okay.
Cheesies.
That's fine.
Bag cheese, cool.
Yeah. Feel free to mark down a couple of. Feel free to mark down 2 pieces of cheddar.
Well, is it mild or sharp?
It's give it a taste.
All right. I have a weird task that I need to do before we go anywhere.
Okay.
I need to pick some flowers.
Okay, that's fine.
You can come if you want, but I like to do it by myself.
Okay.
I'm gonna go.
Okay, bye. We'll be
that's
here.
Fine. That's fine. So Vistra wanders out of the inn. Make a survival check.
And just for the record, it's to make perhaps medicine.
Okay.
Let's see. That would be a 13.
13. Okay. You know from your knowledge of the area, sort of like having been raised in sort of like the locale, that the best place to go would actually be back sort of like the way you came, sort of out the North Road, and not too far out of the town actually of Coston, sort of like just to the left of the highway. You know that there's a couple of meadows, which generally often have sort of like some nice flowers in them. So you head up there. It takes you probably about hour and a half, sort of like get up there, find some flowers that you want. But you manage to find sort of like a couple of handfuls of decent herbs and such. Do you wander back to? Do you actually make a perception check? Where are they?
Oh boy, I never like doing that. Wait. That would be. Oh, that's not bad at all. 17.
Wow, 17. Okay. While you're out, sort of like just off the highway picking flowers, the meadow itself is just set down a little bit from the highway. You do notice a single rider heading towards Coston itself. You get a good enough look at his garb, and you do actually see sort of he is wearing quite a dark cloak. The hood is up and the face is obscured, which isn't too uncommon given the time of year. The fact that it is a little bit brisk, it is a little bit chilly. But he just seems to be sort of single focused on getting to Coston as quickly as he can. Do you rejoin the others at the tavern?
I do, and I don't mention the rider at all. I think nothing of it.
Okay, that's fine. You head back there, and Tara, Jack, and Quinn are all in the bar, sort of like just chilling, awaiting your arrival. Jack has managed to sort of entertain Theo with some bagpipe playing, along with the drum attached to his legs.
Quinn at this point has probably walked outside of the inn just to kind of get away from the noise, but being still close enough. But she's just going to be kind of hanging out outside, kind of
That's
practicing some dance moves.
That's fine. By this point, sort of Grant has up and left the inn. Is currently now, you assume, heading back home. So you are back at the inn. You have some flowers. You are all awake and ready. What do you do?
So we still have this necklace. We have no idea what's up with, and Quinn has it around her neck currently, but kind of hiding underneath.
Is it like a Horcrux where you're going to become really mean?
I don't know. Jack said something about it was a curse, but at this point, I'm a tiefling. I don't think I can get any farther, any closer to the Nine Hells than I can right now.
Yikes! I actually have a question for you, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
Will we need to prepare for winter?
You've got sort of warm enough clothes for in your sacks for travel anyway.
Okay.
The area it doesn't have a harsh winter, but it has a cold enough that you would have some extra layers.
Gotcha. So it's like Florida. Cool.
I'm going to nod and agree. Yes, it's exactly like Florida.
Brit has yes.
It probably is sort of like similar to Everglades in terms of its humidity. Sort of like the forest to the west of the mountains sort of like is very much like that. The closer to the mountains you get, it's probably more like you are kind of going slightly more north. The closer you get to the mountains because of the climates.
Cool.
Probably the best way to describe it.
So Quinn has both the necklace, but then gonna bring up Theo did talk about that guy Grant and his issue with his daughter being kidnapped, and
That made me so uncomfortable.
He mentioned the sheriff has been doing an ongoing investigation, that if we are going to look into this, we might want to go talk to them.
I'm okay with that. I mean, why not get into someone's personal life? Sounds great.
We could have money involved with this.
I'm sold.
Cool.
Okay. So you're wandering to the sheriff's?
Yeah, I suppose that's what we're going to be doing. We're hoping maybe we can get some sort of reward for maybe helping with this.
Okay, that's fine. The sheriff's itself is actually sort of like more or less just across the street from the actual collected stein, sort of like the central area of the town / village. It's not very big. It's not very spread out. So you do wander across. The sheriff's itself is quite a small building. It has a couple of holding cells inside. The sheriff's building is actually a little bit different to most of the rest of the town. The stone is a little bit sort of like darker, a little bit less worn. You know from history that sort of like the Grinjaws do have varying grades of stone that they do try and quarry, and the sheriff's having to hold prisoners is generally made of slightly sturdier stuff to prevent any breakouts. Do you wander in?
I guess, yeah.
Before we go in, I want to stop Quinn and just present her to the door. Look at this woodwork. How do you not see this?
Do you know what kind of wood is this? I am not.
I licked the door. Do I know what kind of wood it is?
Make a nature check. Make a nature check.
The loading screen just went up.
Make a nature check.
That would be a 14.
14. Tastes kind of like sort of like slightly oaky.
This is fine oak.
There's a few oak copses out, sort of like on the northern roads, sort of like more to the west, sort of like towards Scrolton and towards the edge of the woodland that sort of marks the start of the prison forest. But yeah, it tastes nice and oaky. It's got a lovely earthy scent to it. You just managed to avoid a splinter.
Great. If you ever want to find oak, this is it.
That looks like a very nice oak. Thank you for enlightening me on what this is.
No problem.
I shall try
Anytime.
to learn more.
Yes.
My forte is more on the gems, but I'm willing to teach me your ways.
Yeah, it's always good to expand.
It is.
Indeed. So after licking a doorway, are you wandering through it? Who licks a door?
I guess we are. I don't know. Mainly Vistra. Vistra's licking the doors. Quinn's just gonna kind of had a moment of like, wait, what? And then just like acceptance, because it's like this seems like in the time that she's known Vistra, this seems like a very Vistra thing to do. Seems
legit.
Like my staff is also a nice oak, if you're wondering.
Indeed.
If you want to lick the staff.
No.
Okay.
I'm good. I believe you.
Okay.
I don't think I have your knowledge, so I wouldn't be able to determine
Palette. Please call it a palette.
your palate.
Oh dear. Lick the staff is going to be the name of this VOD. Okay.
Lick the VOD, name of your sex tape.
Oh god. So.
We made a sex tape.
This went wrong, weirdly. How did we get here? Okay. So, what are you doing?
We're going into the sheriff's
Going
office.
in, not a problem. You enter in, and the first thing sort of like you see is sort of like ahead of you, sort of like there's a desk sort of like set to one side. On the left, on the right, there's another desk. The interior sort of seems almost L-shaped. Up ahead of you, there are some stairs onto a little sort of like platform level, which is mostly just like full of shelves of documents and papers. Just underneath that, next to the stairs, are 2 holding cells, and to the right of you are 3 holding cells. You see the sheriff, Edison Creature. He is the sheriff. He is a human male. He's got very black, shaggy hair, sort of almost think sort of like slightly shorter than Aragorn is the best way I can describe it. He's got a scar on his chin, which kind of like goes from his chin just to under his ear. It kind of follows his jawline, so you know it's there from having seen him about town, and it's being talked about. Local legend talks of a knoll attack from the local
knoll?
highlands.
Regular
that
knoll?
was regular knoll. That sort of like, he helped fend the village off from. To your right is the deputy, Solomon Creed. Again, well known within the town. Another human male, slightly older, sort of slightly greying hair. Oops, sorry, slightly greying hair. You could tell it was brown. It's sort of like it's more grey than it is brown now. Sort of almost like sort of like bowl cut style. Is a very sort of like well presented man. And Solomon sees you first. You also notice that there is a prisoner. I suppose a occupant in one of these cells to your right, who's currently sleeping in a small corner of it. So Edison stands up.
Does the prisoner look like anyone we recognize?
Make a perception check.
12 plus 2, 14.
14. Doesn't look like anyone you recognise. It's not a big town, so you have probably seen most people while you're there. He looks like he's not from this town. So you're kind of looking at me going, I can't place you. I don't recognise you. No idea. But he's currently sleeping, sort of like in a corner, sort of like slightly fetal position, sort of like trying to curl up against the cold stone.
Okay, so it's an out-of-town delinquent that came in and decided to not be a good person in this lovely town.
Assumedly?
Stealing money.
Assumedly? Well, who knows? So Edison sort of like stands up, sort of like greets you. He's wearing sort of a black leather sort of like tunic. He's got a long sword slung by his side.
Did they let him keep his weapon?
He's the sheriff of the town.
Oh, I thought you said this was a prisoner. Sorry. I was like,
No.
what? I was
Sorry,
writing
you
notes.
throw
My
like a
bad.
prisoner a weapon.
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
Indeed. Stands up and greets you.
All right there, how are we all doing? What can we do for you?
We heard from Theo over in the Collected Stein that Grant's been having some troubles lately, and we're wondering if we could perhaps offer our services to help out.
Yeah, he has.
We're not talking about prostitution, not that kind of services. Just to clarify.
He gives you a kind of look as if to say. He gives you a look as if to say, "Good."
Just wanted to clarify.
Good. Glad. Kind of like turns back to Quinn and goes,
Yeah, it's a terrible shame about Grant, isn't it, and Marie? But no, this is I mean, we're doing what we can, but she's long gone. We've searched the houses. We've spoken to Grant. There's no sign of her. We don't know what's happened to her. I mean, if you hear anything, you're more than welcome to. And again, if Grant's happy to hire you, because I know he kind of knows that you do sort of like essentially sort for hire work and odd jobs around the town for coin. If Grant's willing to set you on to task, I'm sure he's willing to do that. I mean,
That would be a reward from Grant and not, say, collective. Perhaps the proper nickel.
He was so young, and he died. And we were trying to just make a stone shipment, and now he is gone. And I don't know what to do with myself anymore.
We're just gonna lead her. We'll go talk to Grant.
Grant!
Quickly grab this.
Don't even get me started.
Walk out the door.
okay, so is Vistra still sort of stood in there?
Oh, Quinn's trying to take Vistra with her.
I go with her because I think I did a good job.
Okay. Edison kind of like sort of looks at you a little bit vacantly, wondering what the fuck has just happened.
Chaotic mood here.
you exit. You notice as you're sort of like exiting, sort of like Solomon, sort of like who's just sat at the desk, sort of like just marking up papers and keeping an eye on the occupant. Sort of like has obviously sort of like paid attention to the conversation, has just kind of like followed you, watched his eyes followed you out, kind of like jaw slightly slackened, kind of not. Neither of them quite know what's just happened.
Quinn's gonna give Solomon a wink as she leaves.
His expression unchanged. He's still kind of like just slightly more slack jawed, if anything. Kind of just wondering what's going on.
Not prostitutes.
Chaos. Not prostitutes, guys.
I think that went really well.
I think that did too. We did awesome. Well, at least we know when to go talk to Grant and see if he's willing to hire us. If not, I say move on.
Taking money from a guy who's already down on the luck seems kind of wrong.
I know,
But
that's why I was trying to maybe like kind of hint at it in there, but I didn't know how to word it without saying, hey sheriffs, why don't you just pay us? We'll go, investigate this. I didn't. It felt awkward, especially after you.
I'm going back in.
Quinn's gonna be like, oh my god.
Okay, you go back in.
Quinn's just gonna let her go in. Quinn's just gonna stay outside. She's gonna try to be within earshot of what goes on, but she is not going back in there.
Okay.
So you're telling me that you gave up on my friend Grant and looking for his daughter? How could it? I thought you were held to a higher standard of justice.
Make a deception check.
Oh crap! Negative charisma. Here we go. How do you feel about a 4?
Edison kind of sort of like looks at you, and you can see his expressions change from one of bewilderment to one of almost a little bit peeved at you questioning his integrity. Kind of gives a look and goes, "Look, now I'm
gonna go."
You kind of hear him get.
I walk right back out before he can even like really rip into me.
Edison follows you out.
Oh shit!
Kind of like sort of stands over there, sort of like he's currently in the doorway. He's not left the doorway of the sheriff's. Kind of looks at it and goes, "I appreciate you might want to try and help. But honesty is generally a good policy around this town while I'm sheriff. Okay?" And closes the door and walks back in.
I think that went well.
I think that went excellent, and we definitely are getting paid by them at a later date.
Yep.
We're gonna walk up and be like, "Okay, guys, we solved this. Where's our payment?"
Yeah, I think that is actually the best approach.
And then if they don't tell us, we can just beat them up, right? Yeah.
You might do that on your own, but yes.
Okay.
Oh my days. Okay.
I'm watching Dan die.
I'm loving it. I'm loving this. I'm having such a good time just watching you guys, or listening to you guys kind of just run riot in this town. I'm loving it. This is everything I wanted it to be. So you are outside the sheriff's hut, having pissed off the local law enforcement.
Just another day.
Just another day. By this point, it's getting towards sort of like midday. An unhinged dwarf on the loose. Yeah, something like that. Oh god, pumpernickel. Okay.
I literally was at that point. I was like, "Oh shoot, how am I going to like word stuff?" And I was like, "Wait, I'm gonna pumpernickel and see what happens." We just talked about this.
Yeah, that went well. So, outside the sheriff's, what's your plan? What are you thinking?
So, do we want to go talk to Grant, or are we just gonna like keep an eye out for him? Like maybe go talk to him, see what his daughter looks like, and then just keep an eye out and just not mention any payment right now.
I like that. I like where your head's at.
Okay, because like we're not really saying we're gonna be, trying to actively find her, but we'll just be like, hey, we're gonna be going, to another place. We'll try to keep a lookout for her. We'll try to see if we hear anything.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, and then that way we don't feel bad about taking money from this guy.
But like,
if he offers it, I'm not gonna say no.
Well, I mean, you might have noticed, but I'm pretty persuasive.
You are very persuasive. Maybe do like what you did with that one thief that we were talking to. Maybe that might work.
Might be a little bit much.
True.
But yeah.
We should have done that with the sheriff.
You're looking back, I see where your head's at.
Yeah, but
I think you might
it's-
have been right.
Yeah, but I feel at this point he's probably going to be a little suspicious of us unless we actually go and actually prove that we're not prostitutes like we kept suggesting.
We're not.
Hashtag
I mean, you
not
could
prostitutes.
be. You do. I know what dancer means, but
I know.
I didn't. I wish I was, but I was not living under a rock.
Yep. Okay, let's go to Grant's.
Yep.
Okay. You don't actually know where Grant lives. You know he works at the town hall.
Mm-hmm.
You don't actually currently know where Grant lives.
Well,
Wasn't he at the bar though?
If we know he works at the town hall, we should probably start there first.
Okay.
Wait, so you're telling me that he woke up and he went to work?
Well, he woke up and he left the bar.
Go find out. We
Okay.
can go find out, and then if he's not there, then we can see if they can let us know where he lives.
Okay. The hashtag totally not prostitutes. I like it.
Yes.
So yeah, the town hall is thankfully actually next to the sheriff's. If you have the map from Discord, I will try and actually get that map up for those watching. I think I have it somewhere. No, I don't. We will upload that. I will get it up. What?
Gotta know where we are.
Indeed. So it is thankfully next to the sheriff's place. I'm just trying to find the map of Costa now. There it is. The building itself is quite a large square building. It's very grandeur. There's beautiful sort of like ornate carved columns on the outside. The doorway itself is actually a big stone arch that kind of spans two doorways with a dividing column in the middle of it as well. Nope, not that one. Great new page. Please excuse the madness that my players drew.
Oh my gosh.
Yep, that happened.
That's awesome.
There we go. That's map of Custom. So,
Oh my god, that's awesome.
no,
Sorry.
map is currently on screen. Should you wish to see it? The town hall again is next to the sheriff's.
Do we need to change something on our screen?
No, it's on the stream.
Okay.
Okay, that's fine. But yeah, so you wander into the town hall. The entrance, as I say, is a very grand arch with a centre parting column and two thick heavy wooden doors. Opening it up, you are greeted with this one. A immediate sort of as you get in, a desk in front of you. You look to the left, and it's kind of a long, thin corridor. It's about 2/3 of the actual building itself. There are a couple of clerks currently sort of like working away, and some stairs going upstairs. There's also a door just on the other side of the reception desk, which looks to be, again, for an internal door, very grandiose in its design, sort of like beautiful sort of like ironwork hinges on the side of it. Standing behind said entrance desk is a young human male. He's actually quite young. He's probably sort of late adolescence. He's got very coppery short hair, and a very sort of like thin goatee that he's obviously trying to grow out at present. Sort of like looks up from his
Same
desk.
though.
Same though. I like it. Looks up at you and goes, "Hello, yes. How can we help you?"
We're looking for Grant. We heard about what happened to his daughter, and we're trying to see if maybe we can help out. Do you know if he's here today?
He kind of, you can see his face sort of like visibly sink a little bit. He goes, "No, he isn't. The mayor gave him the week off at the very least. I mean, losing your daughter like that so suddenly is it's going to do something to a person."
Goddess bless the mayor's soul for that.
Indeed, yes. May Bahamut bless her. Yes, no, he's currently at home.
Do
do you by chance know where his house is? We'd like to go at least see if we can get information to possibly help him out.
Make a persuasion check.
Nice.
At least it's not.
You're on.
At least it's not deception this time.
I know. 14 plus 3, 17.
17. Okay. He looks at you and goes, "Yes, I see. He does live quite close by. If you, and he explains the house, and it's across the other side of the street, sort of on the way to the Grinjol masonry on the right hand side.
Okay.
Yes, no, it's just do send him the thoughts from all of us here. We are all thinking of him. It's such a terrible time.
I will do. I know how hard it is to lose. I know Vistra here also. She's just. She is sometimes an ugly crier, and we know how it is. And we.
Excuse me. Ugly crier?
Quinn's just gonna walk out.
Ugly crier.
The young man sort of like sitting there going,
Critical.
"God, you don't look like you've been ugly crier. I'm sure she means it in a nice way."
I just point at him and be like, "You're damn right, I'm not an ugly crier," and I walk out.
Okay. Wandering over to
Quinn's going away. He's gonna be like, "I'm sorry, I panicked," and I didn't want to use pumpernickel this time because last time it was not good.
But last time it went
We
so
saw what
well.
happened.
Last
well,
time it worked so beautifully.
in the sheriff's office, yeah, completely.
Indeed.
Didn't say the word.
I didn't want to do it again.
Okay.
It's kind of been our bread and butter, though.
Okay, well next time I'll have to remember just if I even feel like doing pumpernickel, I will do pumpernickel. Though I feel like we need to do something that's not like, we need a better word because it's weird.
Do
for
we
me
need to come up with... We'll come up with a phrase, like, please butter my toast in the morning. And that can be another.
What about we're not
Euphemism?
prostitutes?
I like that.
If one of us says we're not prostitutes, then we need to pull out the theatrics and just go at it.
But is that the crying theatrics?
That's a good question. We'll get this figured out. Let's just go talk to Grant.
Yeah, we'll have a thunderstorm get together kind of thing. Thunderstorm is brainstorm. Brainstorm is what I'm thinking. We got
It seems
rain
like
on
none
the
of us
mind.
can word tonight.
It's not
Today.
just tonight.
Today.
It's every day.
It's every day.
All day, every day.
Yes.
Okay, so heading over to Grant's.
Yeah.
So it's on a row of houses. The house itself is fairly unremarkable from the outside. Looks like any of the other houses on this row. Sort of like fairly small in demeanour, sort of like single story. Vaguely sort of like twig thatched roof with a sort of like a spout, sort of like chimney coming out of the side. The masonry sort of like around the chimney again, sort of like being a very denser stone, similar to that on the sheriff's. So you go in. The door is currently shut. You are standing outside Grant's house.
Quinn's gonna let Vistra knock because in case she also wants to inspect the door and tell me what kind of wood it is.
Is it the same type of door?
It doesn't look oakish. It looks a little bit of a cheaper wood per se.
I'm gonna put my face up against the door and
Okay.
just go
Make a nature
and
check.
give it just with a gentle, just little lick of the door. Not quite like the last one. Gotta change it up. That would be an 11.
An 11. You're not 100% sure of the exact type of wood. You know it's definitely not oak. It looks to be almost like a sort of like a mountain pine.
This is a feisty one. It's certainly not oak. I'm glad you threw this in for the twist. And I'm also glad that you're expanding your knowledge on trees.
It looked different, and I figured I would let you, take a look at it and let your palate try to determine what it is.
It's a tricky one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily used to them, but I feel like this might be a pine of some sort. It's got that pine aftertaste. It kind of burns a little bit if you lick it a little too much. It's very, very harsh.
Okay.
But the smell, it's all in the nose, my dear.
Gotcha.
Stood outside Grant's discussing a door.
Yeah, we're discussing a door. Yeah.
Hashtag talking wood.
I don't know if Grant's heard us while we're discussing his door on the outside, but if he hasn't, I'm gonna knock. Quinn's gonna knock.
Okay. You hear sort of like some sort of vague shuffling from inside. Door sort of like opens a little bit. You sort of see a face sort of like peeking around. It's just the same face as you saw last night, sort of human man, sort of like a little bit salt and pepper hair, looking a little bit sort of like rosy on the cheeks and sort of like a little bit downtrodden in the face. Sort of like leans around. Oh, it's you, is it?
Grant?
Yeah. Who are you?
I'm Quinn. This is Vistra, and then we have Jack and Tara. We are so sorry about your daughter, and we were wondering if we could potentially help.
Life's a bitch, am I right?
Kind of like looks at you and sort of goes, I've lost my wife to disease. I've now lost my daughter to some unknown fucking bastard who had the fucking audacity to come into my house and steal her away. Yeah, life's a fucking bitch. What do you want?
Yeah.
We were wondering if you by chance have any information like what she looked like, potentially like anything that you would think that would help us, because we're planning to kind of travel a little bit, and we are more than willing to help you out and try to see if we can keep a lookout for that bastard that took her.
His face kind of softens a little bit. Make a persuasion roll with advantage.
Do these two. Ooh! Natural 19 plus 3 is 22.
Nice. His face, you kind of sort of like see sort of like a little bit of life sort of like return to his face and his eyes. He kind of looks and goes, you want to help?
Yeah.
Okay, come in. Sorry, come in. He opens the door, sort of like.
Does your daughter also have a little bit of a stutter, or is that not a defining feature?
Extra.
Sorry.
It kind of looks and goes, no stutter that I've recognised. Sorry, my apologies. I'm Grant. You know that. Sorry, it's been a rough couple of days.
We understand. We completely understand.
And he breaks into tears and sort of like just currently standing in the middle of his room sobbing. Looking around the actual house itself, you can see sort of like 2 beds in the corner. Sort of like there's a slightly larger bed, sort of like a double-sized bed, and then below that, at a perpendicular angle, there is a single bed that is currently unmade, in a complete mess. Sort of like the mattress still half hanging off the bed. Table and chairs in the middle of the room. Sort of like one chair is still sort of standing. The other one is actually sort of like part broken, lying next to the table. Couple of chests and armoires on one side of the room, and then sort of like a sink and stove area in the corner by the back door. Grant currently standing sort of like in the entrance hall of the house, sobbing his eyes out. What do you do?
Quinn's just kind of gonna stand there awkwardly. She doesn't quite know what to do. She's hoping either Jack or Tara potentially might be able to do something. She's already heard Vistra's kind of I'm out.
with that.
I don't do well with emotion.
Tara steps forward and goes, I'm really sorry for your loss. What can you tell us about your daughter? And he looks up and goes, well, this is her name's Marie. She's
Marie?
She's my world. She's all I've got left after the wife left. Part of this world. She's about yay high and sort of like for a human man sort of is fairly average height, and he just points. He's actually sort of like leveling sort of like almost with his cheek. So it's not a diminutive girl. She's got sort of ginger hair around about down to her shoulders. She's lovely. She's you can get her back. Do you think you can get her back? Where is she? Who's even taken her? Currently looking around the room at whoever will answer his questions.
We don't know. We just got into town recently, but Tara here is a ranger, and she might be able. I don't know if she'd be able to help out in any way. I punch people when they decide to do stuff like being a bastard and trying to steal people.
Well, if you find a bastard that's taken my daughter, you can fucking feel free to punch him as hard as you like.
I will do one better, and I will end any future family line of it.
Yikes.
For those watching, in session 0, Quinn dealt with a bandit by kicking him so hard between the crotch it actually killed him, and not only ended his life, but if he had survived, he wouldn't have been having children. Every man crosses their legs. That's fine. He's looking around the house going, well, this. I mean, they ransacked the place. I mean, I don't even know if they're looking for. I don't have anything. I'm just a clerk. I just work at the town hall. I just push records. I don't understand why her.
Is there anyone she hung out with that potentially?
No, I mean, well, there's. Yeah, sort of like when my wife passed, she kind of became a little bit introverted. She didn't really hang out with anybody. I mean, she used to have friends, but a couple of them moved up to Scrolton, and a couple moved down to Mericas, and she just kind of like she kept herself to herself. Very introverted.
She go anywhere?
Wonder if that's my fault.
Or does she mostly just stay around the house?
Truth be told, I don't remember the last time she left the house. What? No, tell a lie. I do. There's been a few nights over the past few weeks when she's snuck out. I kind of half thought I should stop it, but then I thought, well, if she's, maybe she's just seeing someone nice and she's getting out and socialising, so I can't let it happen. She thought I didn't know, but I did. It's kind of, he sits himself down at sort of like at the chair and the table, sort of like just looking around the house, going, I don't understand. What do I do?
I don't know, but we're gonna try our best. We can find out what happened to her.
Okay. That's fine. Thank you. Please do. I can't promise I can reward you highly, but honestly, if you bring her back, anything I can do is yours.
Well, that'd be much appreciated, but if you need it, Quinn's just gonna kind of like, she doesn't want to say it, but he's just he ugly cried right there in front of her.
Yep.
And she's just gonna be like, you do whatever you need to do. Worry about yourself first, if need be.
Thank you. And he gets up and just both arms around you, sort of like gives you the biggest, sort of like just currently sort of slightly uglily crying into your shoulder.
Quinn's just gonna like awkwardly stand there,
her tail kind of just like flicking back and forth, like she doesn't know what's going on when he's gonna let go. She's gonna kind of like look around at who she can see and just be kind of like trying to like mentally be like help.
That's fine.
She's not used to this.
Jack is currently standing in the corner, sort of like just like leaning against sort of like a wall, sort of like looking at you, going, sort of seeing how ugly your face are.
Quinn's making a mess. She's seen that, and she's staring daggers at him right now. Like,
Tara is currently sort of like looking around the house, sort of just just where she's standing, kind of like just surveying the scene and sort of like looking around. I wonder if there's anything here. No. Nope. Tara has a short look around. Can't actually find anything other than broken furniture. Okay. Kind of like looks at you. So where are you going to look first?
where are we going to look first, Vistra?
Well,
Say
before I answer that, did you get a look at the guy who took your kiddo rant?
No, I didn't.
Great help. In that case, we were already headed. I just lost my notes. We were already headed towards Kunther, so we might just
what are you
start
going to an
there.
abandoned, cursed place for?
It's actually lovely this time of year. Thank you for asking.
We were hoping to all head to a courage challenge, especially Jack over there. He
Big fan.
Yes, he's a big fan, and he loves to see how spooked he can get, and it was his request.
'Tis the season.
Okay. He looks at you kind of like a little bit gone out and goes, "That's okay, fine. I mean, maybe, but I mean, it's a cursed village. You'll not find much there. Or if you do, maybe, I don't know. Please just bring her back. Thank you. Thank you so much, all of you."
We'll try our best.
I'm gonna go before you cry again, okay?
Okay.
I walk out.
No problem. Tara and Jack follow you.
How tall is this guy? Because Quinn is 5'4". I'm wondering if he's towering over her or what.
He's not towering over. He's probably about sort of like 5'6", 5'7". So he's
okay. So a couple inches. Okay, I just
yeah, a
didn't
couple
know
inches.
if,
But
like,
at the moment, he's kind of like he's not kind of like holding himself up straight. He's kind of like very slumped down. So he's probably more or less on your level, sort of like with his current posture.
Quinn's gonna put her hands on his shoulders and be like, "It'll be all right, dude. We'll try our best. You take care of yourself. Don't fall asleep at the bar again, okay? Bye," and walks out.
Okay. Not a problem. So, standing outside Grant's house, so where were you wanting to go? What's the plan?
Guys, what are we doing?
Do we need supplies of any sort? I don't know if there's much stuff we can get.
Well, we do have there is a stop if we follow the road before Gunther, if I remember correctly. Do we want to just go directly?
Where's my maps?
What are we doing?
No, wrong map.
I
Well,
don't know. Do we want to stay on the road and potentially have what happened with Sparkles happen again? Or are we going to go have a fun
go
time
off
through
the road and...
Yeah, go have a fun in the spores.
I mean...
We do have Tara here. She's a ranger. And we have you.
I hear
all
you.
your wood. So I think between the two of you...
I hear you, but I feel like you're a little less likely to be attacked on the road than you are off the road.
It's your call. You know the forest better than I do.
I know my forest. This is not my forest.
It's all part of the same forest.
I don't know that.
Yeah. Vistra would know that. Vistra would know that. The Prison Forest is a very, very large forest, and so it does span from Scrolton down to Coston, across past Cunthor, and towards sort of like the western sides of the Antillian River.
So would it cut down on time if we went off-road?
To between here and Cunthor, it is a more direct route through the forest. However, you would know it is more fraught with danger, the forest being inhabited with all sorts of wildlife. It would probably only be sort of like a day and a half more to go via road and round the edge of the forest.
How far total is going around if we follow the road? Like, what's...
Good question. Where is my map gone? It's gone. There it is.
But also, do we want horses?
That's a good question.
It's
how much
probably,
money
if you were
do
to go direct, it's probably about 3 days, probably about 4.5 if you go via the road.
That is a long time.
And if we had horses, how much would that shorten it?
If you had horses, it'd probably only take you... You wouldn't be able to take horses through the forest. You know that the forest is too dense for that. But if you'd go round, you'd probably cut it down to sort of like a good sort of like 3 days, 2.5 days, a decent pace.
Okay, so it's originally 4... Wait, how long is it by walking?
On foot, about 4.5 days.
4.5 days.
It's
And
a good trek.
about
It's
3 with
nearly the other side of the
horses.
entire forest.
So we could get to the next town in
Yeah,
the day,
there is a small village that you know that is on the way, sort of on that road round the south end of the forest.
Could we get to that in a day?
On horse, yeah. You'd, if you're setting off in the morning, you could probably get there before the evening.
Okay, and then it'd be another 2 days journey after that to get to this abandoned town.
Well, on horse, it'd be about another day and a half.
Okay, Vestra, do we want to get horses and spend the money that we rightfully got from Sparkles' demise?
We can always see how much horses are and then decide from there. Maybe we only need 2. We have 2 dwarves in our little troop here. I mean, you know.
I like that plan. Let's go do that.
Yep.
Okay. We're gonna, I guess, head to the stables.
No problem. Head down to the stables. You head to the south end of the town. Stables themselves sort of like almost like a slightly wooden ramshackle affair. They are probably one building out of the entire town that just stand out a little bit as not being made of stone. You arrive there. There's a small paddock outside the building of the stables itself. You see a couple of horses, a couple of ponies in the paddock area, and inside the stables, it being not a particularly closed off building, you do see the owner. You see a tabaxi male. It's black and ginger furred. He is currently sort of like tending to some leathers that are hanging on the side of the stables.
Do we know this guy?
You know him as Kareem.
Kareem. How do you spell that?
Kareem.
Okay. Well, I believe it was your idea, Bistro, to horses.
You said we do know him.
Yes.
Yeah, you know Mr. Green. He's the sole tabaxi in town. You know that for definite.
Good point.
Yeah, but the town itself is primarily sort of like human, dwarf, and gnome. There is sort of a small smattering of sort of like half elves and elves, and say just a dragonborn that travels with you.
True.
Because with my feature, in addition, your performance makes you somewhat of a local figure. When strangers recognize you in a town where you have performed, they typically take a liking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Is it safe
Unless
to
they
say?
roll a 9.
Is it? He's pretty friendly with us. He recognizes us enough. We haven't caused trouble yet.
Well, no, exactly. It'll have seen you around and saying, but there's no one in town is particularly hostile towards you guys. They'll all offer sort of like a friendly smile and sort of like a friendly nod. Sort of like just recognition of sort of like good mornings and stuff.
All right, I will peruse on in.
Okay.
And greet our good friend Kareem with a friendly hello.
Okay. Kareem turns around. Hello, how are you today?
Fantastic. Thank you so much for asking. That was so kind of you.
Welcome,
I was just wondering. Okay. I was wondering if you have any horses that you think would be a 2-seater, if you will, 1.5-seater. Wow, that was diminishing.
He kind of puts his hand up and goes, "Are you referring to yourself and your many instrumented colleague?"
Colleague is such a loose term, but yes. That would be it.
Kind of gives you a grin. Well, only the finest horses in the Coston here. We do have. And he kind of looks outside. We currently only have 2 horses and 2 ponies.
Well,
How much would it cost to rent these animals?
rent? She means buy.
Rent. Okay.
See what the lower option is right now, Vistra.
Well,
Are these for riding, or are these for beasts of burden carrying a cart?
honest.
Feel like we need at least 2 riding, but we need, just for Jack, we need 1 beast of burden for all of his instruments.
He can walk, probably.
Okay. Well, you kind of look. So you're saying 2 and 1 sort of like hauling.
But if we got horses for pulling a cart, couldn't we just ride on the cart?
Oh, that's a good question.
If you had a cart.
Oh, shit.
We need to go steal a cart.
If you had a
I
cart.
see what you mean.
Do you,
I
by
see.
chance, Kareem, have a cart we could also rent?
Or buy.
Or buy?
Sadly not. No, only the finest of farriers here. There's horses and nothing else, I'm afraid.
That's okay. Okay.
He kind of looks at you and goes, you might find a cart in one of the neighbouring towns. And, I don't know if there's... No, I know the brewery have a cart and the stonemasons have a couple of carts, but they're generally constantly on the road, you see.
Except for when they're not.
We just came
I
up with
wink.
one.
I wink.
He kind of looks and goes, well, no, but there still would be the next day. They're quite busy. You're more than welcome to go ask them. They might have a spare one that they've broken in the yard you could fix up over time. But as for the horses, we have the horses will be 75 gold each. And to say,
Is that to rent or to buy?
it's to buy.
And buy some horses.
75 gold each for each of the 2 horses and the 2 ponies.
Well, no, the ponies are cheaper. The ponies are only 30 gold each.
I feel like I could probably ride a pony for myself, by myself.
Do we just want to buy all 4? Is that what we want to do? Then we don't have to worry about Jack's instruments?
Would Jack be able to ride a pony and that will also carry his stuff?
I mean, Jack's
That'd be a
instruments.
little too
Jack
much.
does carry a lot of instruments with him, but in terms of like his overall weight, it doesn't add a significant amount onto his weight. It's more kind of bulky and noisy than it is heavy. But yeah, you'd maybe think that a sturdy pony could carry him. It might shorten his lifespan a little bit, but it could certainly carry him.
Well, we're not looking for a long-term commitment from these ponies.
In D&D, when is a horse ever a long-term commitment?
Kareem, I think we need to have have a talk. I think this will be a really good talk, profitable talk, some would say. If we per se buy all 4 of your, well, 2 and 2, of course.
Yes.
How do you feel? Okay, that was a little much. How do you feel about lowering the price of those horses down to 50 gold since we're buying you out of stock completely?
Make a persuasion check.
Here comes that negative charisma. 10.
10. It kind of gives you a look. So you want to buy 2 horses and 2 ponies?
Correct. The horse is at 50 and the pony's at 30. You know, you don't have to worry about selling anything after that. You know, you're set.
I'd be willing to part with all 4 for 200 gold.
Why do you say wait? I'm gonna like put my finger up like in the. We need a. I'll be right back, and I pull Quinn to the side.
Are we out of earshot of him?
You can get just about out of earshot, sort of like, well, he carries on sort of like working his leather, sort of like keeping an eye on sort of like, you know, where you are, but he's not particularly listening in.
Okay, so thoughts.
Yeah.
Do we really want to sink 200 gold into animals we have to now take care of?
I have herbs. They eat grass.
I know, but still, we need to, like, we gotta make sure they're okay if we're staying the night somewhere. We have to stable them.
I feel stable.
We had to.
I have a better idea.
How about we just go see if Scarl's still around?
That too.
Bye.
You might want to sit down for this idea. It just hit me like some bricks.
Mm-hmm.
I can turn into an elk.
Are you going to be able to carry all 3 of us?
No.
Can we maybe just potentially go see if Scarl's still here? You can friend him enough, can maybe ditch him on the way, and then we now have a cart.
Okay.
You would know
I'm
that
still
Scarl
liking my
works
elk
for the
idea, but I
stonemasons.
think
Well, if you want to be an elk, I don't know, do we want to steal from the stonemasons and potentially have
you would know that Scarl works for stonemasons, and the cart that he drives belongs to the Grinjaws. It is their
definitely
shipment.
not pissing them off.
Yeah, it is their shipment carrying up and down.
we could
Scarl is just an
disguise
employee that
ourselves.
wears it, that drives it. Sorry.
If you want to do that, I don't know you. Definitely not prostitutes.
Definitely don't have a disguise kit, but yeah, sure. Should we, if you could turn into an elk, we can now then only buy
2.
2?
Correct.
I
'Cause
really
I
don't.
can carry 1.
Oh. I am. Yeah. I definitely don't want to be sitting with Jack with all of his instruments going off.
No one does.
So we give him his own.
Again, I still think he could walk.
He
But
might
if we
make it there a few days late.
I mean, I'm not going to touch that one.
Okay. So are we just maybe getting the 2 horses?
I feel like that's a much better idea than trying to steal from the wealthiest family in this area.
True. Maybe, yeah. You're right. I just thought, we were talking carts, and they have a cart, and...
I mean, we could always ask if they would let us borrow it, but...
rent it. The thing is,
that
if
too.
we can't bring it back... Now our head's on the line.
There's a lot of our heads on the line, and we can't bring it back, but I think,
So do we just think maybe 120 gold would be our counter offer for these 2 horses?
Or maybe, no, we can't. Do you think we could push it for 100?
Maybe.
And that would be Sparkles' payment right there.
I like where your head's at.
Okay, so we're going to see if we can get just 2 horses for 100.
1 horse, 1 pony.
One, okay. So who's gonna get the pony?
Jack. So that we can shorten that pony's lifespan.
That poor pony.
Jack, so that it can carry his crap. Instruments, sorry. Stroke. His instruments and himself. Correct?
Mm-hmm. And then who's gonna be riding the horse? And then who's gonna be...
Tara.
Okay. And then
Or
so
you,
and me
either.
are gonna pretend we're not gonna be prostitutes.
We're definitely not.
Cool.
Wait, is this the code word now? We never had that.
I don't know.
I don't think it quite qualifies yet.
Okay, I realize if I word something the certain way, it's gonna sound really a lot like we're prostitutes if I say it.
It is suspect. I think that's yeah, I think we should aim for the 1 hundy. The hundo.
Hundo. Well,
The
could we
hundo.
potentially drop down because it was how much was it for the 2 horses? Was it 75?
75 gold.
Well, but the horse and the pony was 30 and 75 being 105.
Couldn't
think
you
we could even
friend?
roll.
Could you friend this guy to get a really good deal on this?
I don't know what you mean by friend this guy.
Charm him some way?
Listen, honey, I got 2 spell slots, and we're going into danger. I don't think that's quite how it works. Mine's more so. I mean,
Cream's finished dealing with the lads. He's not approaching you. He's currently just leaning against the back of the stable, sort of, just casually looking at his claws and trying to sort of pick something out
want
his
me-
fur.
well, okay, so like in all actuality, it just makes the person friendly towards me. It's not like I can really
Oh.
coerce them to do anything.
Do you want me to try my feminine charms, see if I can get a deal? And if
Were you
not-
gonna dance around him? You saying I'm not feminine? Or am I? I'm not charming?
I seem to have a slightly better time at anything social than you
Okay,
do.
that's valid. That's valid.
So I could at least try, and if not, then we can try to negotiate for stuff. I think maybe we should try to see if we can get both
We
horses.
should try to
into a
get
deal.
both horses for 95.
Ooh, I like that idea.
That way he's like, oh my god, they're really trying to shortchange me. And then we come back knowing.
Oh, so we go like really low.
Yeah, yeah.
And then his counter is, more so what we want.
Right.
Oh, okay. I've heard stories from traveling bards about these almost pawn shops where that's what you want to do. It almost seems like that kind of situation.
I thought this was an original idea, but that's fine too.
Okay, so I'm gonna go try to see if we can negotiate it. Do we want? Okay,
Should
so
we almost
95.
say like 85 just to be like outlandish? Is that just rude at that point? Is there
I
at
think
some
it's
point where
rude.
it's just,
I feel
Okay,
like
okay.
100. If we can maybe see if we can get down to 100, but it's 150 is currently what they'd both be at. I feel like maybe we can
are you
like
sure it's 150?
75 plus 75, right? 150.
Well, no, because if it's a pony and a horse, that'd be 105.
Well, we were gonna try to get 2.
Oh, we're going for the ponies.
We're
Or
trying to
2
get 2
horses,
horses.
rather. I mean, we get
I would see
50
if we
gold.
can
That's
If
That's
we
a
can
lot.
get a good, if we can get a good deal off of these horses, you do it low so he can counter offer you.
How about I just let you take the reins? See what I did there? And I'll take your. You take the lead on this. I trust your.
'Cause if we're doing a pony and a horse,
Well, no one's doing a
that's
pony. Let me just.
125.
Let me just.
If we're gonna buy
clarify.
a pony and a horse,
Yeah,
that's 105 gold.
correct.
Without a discount. He's saying though, he'd give us all 4 for 200, which I would think he'd give us 2 of a pony and a horse for 100. Do we want to try lower?
No, I like that.
So we're
What are
gonna
you
go.
doing, guys?
Do we just want to get the pony and the horse, or do we want to try to go for?
No, I'm like, man, this is too much pressure now. This is too much pressure on me now.
I know.
Just
I say
buying
pony
a
and
horse
horse.
and a pony is taking
Pony
this
and a
long.
horse.
I know, right?
Okay, we're going to He's like, okay, and turn back to Kareem.
Okay, Kareem sort of looks and goes, "Yes, what can we do?"
So, we actually have decided we only need a horse and a pony. And since you had offered all 4, we're wondering if maybe we could get that deal, maybe like 95 gold for the pair,
For a horse and a pony.
for a horse and a pony. And then these are 2 animals you don't have to worry about anymore. They have been sold. You have gotten your money
Money in your pocket
in your pocket. We
or
have.
purse. You know,
This
Yes.
is not even like.
You are
We're not
correct.
even
You know, it
asking-
would be
yeah.
2 animals off my books, but I would then have to go and seek 2 new to replace. I like to keep ample stock for those who pass through, especially the Grinjaws and the Granthams. They do like beasts who pull their carts occasionally. The roads are dangerous places after all, but 95. Yes, we could do 95. That's fine. Just 10 gold discount. I was willing to offer that in the first place. I don't see why we can't honour that. He holds out a paw.
Quinn's gonna take it, shake on it.
Fantastic, fantastic. So
so are you able to like retract the claws? Do you have claws, or don't worry about it?
he kind of looks down at his paw and sort of like just flexes it a little bit. And although they're not retracting, sort of like, you know, as he's flexing it, sort of like the claws do appear to sort of like, you know, upon a slightly more clenched fist, be more sort of like hidden by the fur.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they're not so much retracted as kind of like just covered, if that makes sense. So yes, be 95 gold then, please. And
Okay, so Quinn's gonna. Can we also get some supplies for these animals on top of that?
yeah, no problem.
How
I mean,
much
so
would that be?
in terms of supplies for the animals, so they'd probably say about sort of like, you know, how long were you wanting to get for?
Would it be like 5 gold to make it?
How long were you wanting to look at sort of like, you know, gathering supplies for? How many sort of like days with?
How much? I think we want to stock up a bit.
Mhm.
What would you say, Sarah?
Yes.
How
Listen,
much supplies would 5 gold worth of supplies?
I
How
think
much?
they
How long
can
would
just
that?
eat
5
grass.
gold.
Do these
Talk about
horses
10.
include?
5 gold will get you about 10 days worth of supplies for the horses.
Right. But this also could we like include? Is this including like a reins and?
Yeah, the horses themselves comes like fully furnished.
Fish
with,
weight.
you know,
Fully
as
furnished.
riding
days.
horses, they come with a base saddle, sort of like, you know, reins and sort of like, you know, and the ability to direct the horse and sit on it.
Okay, so 10 day. I think that sounds fine. Because that's about as much rations as I have currently to go on the road.
Exactly, fantastic. Okay, so yeah, nice exchange.
I
If you want
still
to,
have
100
toast in my pocket.
100 gold total.
100 gold total. If you want to mark that off between yous, however you
Okay,
want to divvy that
everyone's
up.
25.
You, yep, yep, no worries, that's fine.
Yep.
So
Minus 25.
I'll make a note of that for Jack and Tara.
I was trying to make it.
So they're essentially plus 200 each, rather than 225 each. Cool. That's fine. So you are now in possession of a horse and a pony. The horse is a lovely sort of like deep brown all over with a very dark brown mane. Has kind of like little sort of like white cuffs around the base of his hooves. The pony is mostly white, sort of like with some grey sort of like black speckles. Is the pony's mane is sort of like, you know, sort of like a little bit darker grey than the fur on his body. Okay. So you Kareem sort of sees you off, sort of like meets you outside the stables, reins in hand, guiding both the beasts. Here you go. Hands the reins over to yourselves. Pleasure doing business. Safe journeys. And sort of like gives you a little sort of like gives Vistra a little kind of like sort of like gentle paw bump on the shoulder. Turns around and goes back inside.
Okay, we now have 2 more mouths to feed.
Excellent.
To take care of 'em. So, what time of day is this?
It's currently getting towards sort of like sort of like probably late afternoon.
So we definitely could not make it to the next town.
You would have to travel through the night.
Do we want to travel through the night?
Or do we want to start and then we camp along the way?
True, and then that way
You
we
do have
get
supplies for that?
there halfway through the
Exactly.
day, and then we could kind of check it out.
Yeah,
Without having to
if
worry
you
about
if you were to
next
do
close.
that sort of like with good travel, you'd probably be at the next town sort of by about midday the next day.
Do we want to start then? Well, first we should probably go tell Theo that we're not staying the night,
Oh, good point.
and maybe see if we can get like a a meal or something, or like a grab bag.
I have toast in my pocket.
I don't. I'm a little peckish right now.
Mm,
We can go stock up on like more toast and stuff. For you.
I like, yes.
Okay. I guess we're gonna go back to the inn and try to get more food.
Okay, that's fine. So for the sake of expediency, sort of like Theo greets you there, sort of like, yeah, no problem at all, no problem at all. How many days were you wanting?
Oh, we were just saying like food for right now.
Oh, food right now. Oh, sorry, no, my apologies.
Yeah, I'm a little peckish. We were around town and I'm craving some lunch.
No problem. So yeah, between yourselves, and assuming you're paying up your bar tab, as soon as you're
yeah.
moving on, that's fine. So the room's obviously free board because of your dancing. So with that meal, that'll be put you at between you all, we'll say a gold each for food and drinks. So nice and easy. I'll mark that down for Jack and Tara as well. I'd say that'll cover you for the time you've been there, sort of like the last couple of days, and meals and breakfasts. So that's fine. You enjoy a nice meal. Fairly well cooked hog roast.
Day some of it and kind of wrap it up and kind of put it in my bag.
Not a problem at all. So with that, are you wishing to head out towards the open road towards Cunthor?
Guess so. Yeah.
Vistra? Yeah.
Let's go. I guess.
Is there anything else you wish to do in town before you go?
I wish to wild shape into an elk.
Easy enough. What does your elk form look like?
Well, you'll see my long brown hair just slowly grow and kind of cover my arms, and I'm kind of a small elk. It's the dwarf, very small antlers. It just seems like someone stopped growing a little short. Never quite hit that elk puberty, if you will.
Not a problem. Okay, so Vistra transforms into an elk. You have your horse, you have your pony. You prepare to set out on the road to Cunthor. You'll be leaving through the southwest path along the south edge of the Prison Forest. By now, it's getting towards sort of like mid to late afternoon. Sort of like the sun is not low in the sky. It's not quite setting yet, but it's getting on towards the day. What lays ahead of you, we will find out next week, when hopefully we will have Shauna and Aidan back from their internet issues.
Now I feel so bad for them.
Boo to Sky. I know they've tweeted their customer service, but they probably won't get a response until tomorrow morning, unfortunately. So thank you all for joining us. Hello to Uninstalling Zero. Sorry, we were busy with the game. I was appreciating your puns. Thank you very much for joining in. We will be back next Tuesday at 7 p.m. What time over your end? Is it 7 p.m.
That's central for Aaron.
CST?
Yes.
Then it's
Yes.
8 p.m. EDT for me.
And 1 a.m. BST on Wednesday morning, technically, for myself over here in the UK. Hey, so thank you very much for joining us. I hope you enjoy it. If you did miss any of it and want to catch it, it will be on the YouTube channel within about 24 hours or so. Feel free to catch it there. If you type !social into chat, you will get all the links there for everything. If you wish to follow us on Twitter. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Erin.
Thank you.
It's been a good little session. Boom. Nice. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah, for the sub. Thank you, JB Retro, for the bits. We will see you next week. Until then, farewell.
Yeet.
Bye.
Hello, follow me. Okay.
So I've just stopped streaming. Yeah, they can't hear you, don't we? Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I just had a follow. I wonder if that was unknowing. Uninstalling even. It's nice it was a random person joining on and started just joining in the chat. Yeah, I've never seen him before. Yes, he followed. Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, there we go. Right, let's see if there's anyone available to host. Oh, Pixel Pumpkin. Okay, host Pixeled Pumpkin. There we go. Right, cool. I enjoyed it. Thank you very much for joining me.
And like the number on his arm is like a number she often uses in her like username online or whatever.
That's cute.
But she was like, I had to change my name because everyone was like teasing me for having anything to do with Bastion. I was like, come on. I hate when people shit on Bastion. He's valid.